Live from News 7 KWWL, we've got you covered. This is KWWL News at 10.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Steele.
And I'm Abby Turpin. Thank you for joining us.
Right here live at 10 o'clock tonight, we do have breaking news out of downtown Cedar Falls. We want to take you live to the scene right now. Reports of a serious shooting incident at or near a restaurant in the downtown area. As you can see right there, Abby, take it over.
There's the scene right there. Live look. Officers are at Los Cabos restaurant in Cedar Falls. That address is 114 Main Street. Now, this call coming in around 9:20 this evening. We do know that reports are currently saying a medical examiner has been called to the scene. We don't have more information at this time, but as you can see, we do have crew on scene, but we do encourage everyone avoid this area of Cedar Falls as the investigation continues. It is a developing story, so stay with us on air and online as we learn more information.
Yeah, we do know that they were looking for a suspect who apparently fled the back of the Los Cabos restaurant. Don't know too much more, but we do believe it is a very, very serious situation right now in downtown Cedar Falls, so please avoid that area. You know, business owners on the south side of Iowa City say they have a problem with kids loitering and actually stealing in their stores.
And the South District Neighborhood Association hosted community leaders tonight addressing that and misconceptions about the area.
KWWL Iowa City area reporter Travis Breeze is joining us live right now on more on how the neighborhood, what's going on there, how they're working to correct this situation.
Ron, strip malls rub right up against multifamily and affordable housing developments on the south side of Iowa City. So these business owners say they would like to solve their problems alongside community partners so that this holiday season they can focus on sales.
Mainly it's just kids that may not necessarily have somewhere else to go, and they're just looking for something to occupy their time.
Iowa City school board members, county supervisors, and more met Wednesday trying to problem solve on the south side of town.
We think we're getting information out to families and it's not necessarily reaching them. So I think having conversations like this definitely helps us.
The first thing they did was list the strengths and challenges of youth in their community.
I think it's really important that we first empathize.
Economic backgrounds, language barriers, and misconceptions about the South Side were some of the challenges.
So maybe not having a rapport.
The negative connotation that's always spoken about this side of the area is very unfortunate.
They discussed discounts, family nights, and connecting with families of some of the troublemakers as solutions. No one's questioning the integrity of the neighborhood, though, which is why they're optimistic.
We have the ideas. So I think our association and just getting together with other groups, it empowers us to be able to figure out what our issues are.
Getting this group together so we could all sit down and talk and just kind of share, make connections. That's the biggest thing. You have to make connections in order to fix problems.
Planet 3 Trampoline Park hosted tonight's meeting and said it is planning a block party for the community sometime in June. It also has a program where kids can pay for their time on the trampolines by doing chores like cleaning up the foam pits for them. Reporting live in Iowa City, Travis Breeze, News 7 KWWL.
All right, Travis, thank you. Now, the South District Neighborhood Association formed in 2018 after several other associations in the area merged into one.
And Director Angie Jordan told Travis today that they kind of call it a hub for dispersing key information.
Well, now let's go ahead and turn our attention to the weather. Right now, we'll go ahead and take a live look outside over Waterloo. It was a sunny day out there, but definitely a little chilly.
TechWorks camera operating fine tonight. Let's go back to the forecast center with Chief Meteorologist Mark Schnackenberg standing by right now.
Well, the clear sky that we had today is still out there at this hour. Looks like we'll see a lot of sunshine as we head into the day tomorrow, as well as some very comfortable temperatures, just like we had today. Pretty much a carbon copy almost. 28 to 32 degrees across eastern Iowa. It does get as cold as 19 in northwestern Iowa near Sheldon, and as warm as 40 in Lamoni. Now, as for the clouds, non-existent, and so therefore no precipitation. Temperatures once again will be in the 40s tomorrow. 30s, a little colder on Friday, getting back into the 40s here for the upcoming weekend before it turns really cold around here. By Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, our high temperatures will be in the teens as the cold air comes right out of Canada. We'll talk more about that and see if there's any snow in your Storm Track 7 forecast.
Hey, Mark, thank you very much. Just a moment ago, we told you about the situation in downtown Cedar Falls with the shooting there. Well, tonight, a Waterloo situation. One man is now in custody, and the scene is clear following a long standoff in Waterloo involving Waterloo police this afternoon. Now, police responded to the apartment building near Walnut and 3rd. Reports of shots fired there this afternoon over at Walnut Court. Now, the standoff did end peacefully, and authorities say the man was speaking gibberish, seemed delusional. He was also believed to be a resident of Walnut Court. He was taken to the hospital tonight for treatment. No charges have been filed so far at this time.
Meanwhile, Waterloo police and Cedar Valley Crime Stoppers are asking for your help solving another Waterloo shooting. 19-year-old Marquavion Brown and 21-year-old Contori Kemp were both shot on Madison Street last month. Brown was killed in that shooting, but Kemp is expected to make a full recovery. However, the hospital was still put on lockdown at that time as a precaution. If you have any information related to this case, you're asked to call Waterloo Police or Cedar Valley Crime Stoppers. And a woman is dead after a shooting during a bank robbery in Laverne this morning. This is according to our NBC affiliate, WHO. The victim is identified as 43-year-old Jessica Weishar. She was an employee of Security State Bank. Now, thanks to video surveillance and witnesses, police were able to find the suspect and arrest him. Authorities say there is no ongoing threat to the community. We are also learning tonight that 3 victims have been injured and a gunman is dead after a shooting at a Pearl Harbor shipyard in Hawaii. 2 of the victims are critically injured. Authorities said that at least 100 witnesses were being interviewed about this incident. We do know the shooter is believed to be a U.S. sailor.
Tonight here live at 10 o'clock, continuing coverage as a Des Moines police officer is still recovering, and one teenager is facing serious charges after a scary crash on an Iowa highway in Des Moines. The teenager has been charged with a move over, slow down violation and failure to maintain control. As you can see right there, the highway helper from the Des Moines Police Department was able to just barely leap out of the way and save his life when he noticed the car racing toward him. It was spinning out of control. The car eventually hit a police vehicle. The driver did have minor injuries, and the highway helper just a gash on the knee. It could have been so much worse.
They're putting their lives at stake to be out there to help the traveling public. And I think people need to realize that these people are real people who need to make it home just like they're trying to make it home.
Now, Iowa's move over, slow down law requires drivers to move over and slow down for stopped emergency and utility vehicles on all roadways. Violation of this law results in a fee or even a license suspension.
Attorneys announced another lawsuit against rideshare company Lyft by more rape and sexual assault victims. Many of the alleged sexual assaults occurred after Lyft was sued in early September of this year. The lawsuit also claims that Lyft has concealed these incidents and has done little or nothing to address the issue.
Lyft's message to their drivers is that safety and accountability do not exist, and it's not important. The Lyft platform is tailor-made for sexual predators.
Lyft has released a statement. It says in part, "We will continue to invest in new features, protocols, and policies to ensure Lyft is the safest form of transportation for our riders and drivers."
Well, tonight, Dubuque police are working to identify 8 people involved in a big fight in Dubuque. Now, the fight happened a couple of days ago at the KFC on John F. Kennedy Road in Dubuque. Now, Dubuque police say an argument broke out between 2 groups of people, turned into a huge brawl involving a total of 8 people. Dubuque officers will file any appropriate charges as they identify those involved as the investigation goes on.
Cedar Rapids police are reporting that a 16-year-old is missing. Courtney Wolfs was last seen in the 500 block of 6th Avenue Southwest. She is known to have Tourette syndrome. Police say that she does not currently have her medication on her. So if you have any information as to where Courtney Wolfs might be at this hour, please contact authorities.
Well, tonight our continuing nightly countdown to caucus coverage as more drama on the campaign trail as former Vice President Joe Biden said today he certainly would consider Senator Kamala Harris as his potential vice presidential running mate if he gets the nomination. As you know, Senator Harris, whom we've had on the Steele Report recently, just dropped out of the Democratic presidential race. Vice President Biden was visiting Ames today, saying that Senator Harris could be anything she wants to be.
Look, Senator Harris is the capacity to be anything she wants to do. I mean it sincerely. I talked to her yesterday. She's solid. She can be the president someday herself. She can be the vice president. She can go on to be a Supreme Court justice. She can be Attorney General. I mean, she has enormous capability.
Joe Biden in Iowa, day 4 of his 8-day campaign bus tour across our state.
And the next stops on Biden's tour include New Hampton and Waterloo. Other candidates visiting Iowa tomorrow include Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar, and Bernie Sanders. Booker and Klobuchar are scheduled to be in Des Moines, with Sanders stopping in Story City. And today, as you know, the House Judiciary Committee holding its first public hearing to consider the possible impeachment case against the president. Yeah, the president and his defenders, though, are trying to put the process itself on trial. Alice Barr has the latest from Capitol Hill.
We must move swiftly to do our duty.
This is not an impeachment. This is just a simple railroad job.
The House Judiciary Committee opening its first hearing with 4 constitutional scholars explaining high crimes and misdemeanors, 3 of them saying the president should be impeached for abusing his power in Ukraine.
When President Trump invited, indeed demanded, foreign involvement in our upcoming election, he struck at the very heart of what makes this a republic to which we pledge allegiance.
That message is at the heart of this report. The Intelligence Committee concluding that President Trump used his office for political gain by urging Ukraine to announce investigations of the Bidens and 2016 election interference while withholding military aid.
If what we're talking about is not impeachable, then nothing is impeachable.
Democrats also making the case for obstruction, accusing the president of silencing witnesses and ignoring subpoenas. But the one expert Republicans called says Democrats are rushing the process and haven't proven anything.
Close enough is not good enough. If you're going to accuse a president of bribery, you need to make it stick.
The hearing growing heated, with Republicans accusing the Democrats' witnesses of bias.
Just with a show of hands, how many on the panel actually voted for Donald Trump in 2016?
And Professor Pamela Karlan drawing criticism for bringing up President Trump's 13-year-old son to make the point that presidents are not kings.
The Constitution says there can be no titles of nobility. So while the president can name his son Baron, he can't make him a baron.
The First Lady tweeting in response that Karlan should be ashamed.
I want to apologize for what I said earlier about the president's son. It was wrong of me to do that.
In a deeply divided Washington, this committee now weighing the evidence against the Constitution in deciding whether to impeach a president for the 3rd time in American history. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Right now, let's get back to our breaking news from downtown Cedar Falls as we continue to follow the situation. A big development here tonight. We now know that 1 person is dead in that shooting, which apparently took part in the apartments above the Los Cabos family restaurant in downtown Cedar Falls.
Now, that is according to Director of Public Safety Jeff Olson. Now, let's take another live look at the scene. Our crew has been there since we first heard calls come in. Now, we're just getting that information on the scene from authorities. The first call came in around 9:20 this evening. And again, we are staying there on scene as more information rolls in. But again, avoid the Main Street area of downtown Cedar Falls as their investigation continues. As you can see right there, a very active scene. And of course, stay with us on air and online as more information becomes available. We'll be right back.
We're going to take you live back to the scene of Cedar Falls in just a moment. First, of a couple other stories across Iowa tonight. The Iowa Supreme Court has denied that request to remove the exotic animals and delay that move from an eastern Iowa roadside zoo over in rural Manchester. Yeah, the court denying a request from zoo owners Pam and Tom Zellner to delay that removal of those animals from Cricket Hollow Animal Park while they are appealing the judge's ruling that the zoo is a nuisance. An attorney says the Supreme Court's decision effectively guarantees the roughly 300 animals will be removed. Right now, our breaking news, let's take you right back down to the scene live in downtown Cedar Falls from that shooting here tonight. We do know now that one person has been shot to death in this shooting, apparently in the apartments which are located on Main Street above, not in the restaurant, but above the Los Cabos family restaurant in downtown Cedar Falls. We do know they are looking, Abby, for a suspect who apparently ran from the scene shortly after this shooting earlier tonight around 9:30 or so. I believe we first started hearing about this.
That's right. And Los Cabos located in the 100 block along Main Street there, downtown Cedar Falls. Again, you're getting a live look, and our crew just getting more information from authorities. Again, we do not right at this moment know if they have more information as far as has a suspect or suspects been caught. So again, this is a developing story from downtown Cedar Falls, and stay with us on air and online as more information comes into our newsroom.